Good morning, students. I am educator of Bhakti International School. Now we are going to study our new chapter, class 10 NCERT Science chapter 14, sources of energy. In this chapter we will discuss about different types of energy. Now we will start our chapter first. What is energy? We already studied in earlier classes. Anything to do work or anything, we need energy, right? So we will start our chapter, sources of energy. A source of energy in one which provide adequate amount of energy in a convenient form over a long period of time. What is called sources of energy? A substance that provide a amount of heat and light, and it is for a long period of time. That type of substance is called sources of energy. Now, qualities of a good source of energy. What were the qualities of energy? So we will call them a good source of energy. In that there are at least these 5 qualities if present in energy in a substance, then it is called a good sources of energy. What was first? Which would do a large amount of work per unit mass. Means a substance that give a lot of heat and light at per unit mass, that is called a good sources of energy. We call it also calorific value. Means a substance have high calorific value, then it is a good sources of energy. Second, it is cheap and easily available. Then our next point was the substance that easily available in at anywhere and it cost was at cheap rate, then it is called a good sources of energy. Third, easy to store and transport. If we didn't store it easily, then how we will use for a long time? So a good source of energy have this important point, that is easy to store and transport. If energy is easy to store and transports anywhere, then it is a good sources of energy. Fourth, safe to handle and use. Means if we are using and it is not safe, then it is not a good sources of energy. So it is safe and easily available anywhere, then it is called a good sources of energy. Fifth one, does not causes environmental pollution. Means energy that we are using, it is eco-friendly energy. If it is an eco-friendly energy, then it is a good source of energy. Now the characteristics of a good fuel. In board examinations, mostly these two questions are asking always. First, qualities of a good source of energy, and second, characteristics of a good fuel. These both are same questions, but in the questions changes. Once it will come this and another time it will come this. Both the answers are same, but for your clarification we will discuss separately, then you didn't disturb. So we are going same, whatever it was written here at a good source of energy, it same characteristics of a good fuel also. C, high calorific value. We will discuss in our first point also. Large amount of work per unit mass, that is same as a high calorific value. Means give more heat per unit mass. Second, burn without giving out any smoke or harmful gas. Means a good fuel is always an eco-friendly, so then it is a good fuel. Third one, proper ignition temperature. What is ignition temperature? Means a low rate at which a substance combusts or burn in a air, that point is called that temperature is called a ignition temperature. What is calorific value? A amount of heat produced by a substance at per unit mass, that is called calorific value. Its calorific value. Our fourth point, cheap and easily available, means it will easily available all the where, then it is a good fuel. Easy to handle, safe to transport. Again, we have everywhere it is not present a fuel. We will purchase a fuel, petroleum from Saudi Arabia. It is easy to transport, so it is a good fuel, but it is not a eco-friendly. Okay, so there are some properties that these all properties, a substance have these all properties, then it is a good fuel. Now we will going to discuss our conventional source of energy. Means there are so many types of energy, right? So we will discuss one by one. First, our fossil fuel. What is fossil fuel? It is fuel such as coal or petroleum is called a fossil fuel, that is formed from the decayed plants or animal. It takes millions of years to form. Means what is fossil fuel? It is made from a dead and decaying plant, and it take millions of years to form. And the example of fossil fuel is coal and petroleum. These are the examples of fossil fuel. Fossil fuel released oxides of carbon. When we burn the fossil fuel, then it gives us as a product, byproduct. What is that? Oxide of carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, which causes acid rain. Means fossil fuel is also a form of energy. We are using as a form of energy, but when we burn fossil fuel, it makes pollution, and from that pollution our environment will affect so much. What was the affection? Fossil fuel released oxide of carbon, nitrogen and sulfur in the atmosphere. When rain happening, all the particles of sulfur, nitrogen and carbons will come with our rain at our ground, and the pH value of the soil will be increased with these elements, chemical. So that type of rain is called acid rain. So our parents are saying now, so this was the first rain, we did not have to come outside. Why? Because the acid rain that causes so many disease. So our parents are saying not went outside. Acid rain is caused when the oxide of nitrogen and sulfurs are precipitated from the rainwater. We already discussed, when rain is happening, the chemicals that is present in the atmosphere, they come with the rain and fall down, the value of the pH value of the soil will increase. Third point, it produces large amount of CO2. When fossil fuel burns, it produces large amount of CO2 in the atmosphere, which causes greenhouse effect, leading to the excessive heating of the earth. We are seeing that there are hot in afternoon. Why it was so that much hot? Because when we are using fossil fuel, and fossil fuel reacts produce CO2, and CO2 is a good absorber of heat. So our atmosphere, the level of CO2 was increased, they absorb more heat, so our whole earth will be heated. That's why the global warming is rising, and that's why that is called a greenhouse effect. Now our second conventional sources of energies are thermal power plant. What is thermal power plant? The power plant in which electricity is produced. What is thermal power plant? In that thermal power plant we produce electricity by heating coal, is called thermal power plant. Means in that plants we burn the coal and the heat produced by the coal, that we convert that heat into electricity and we use that electricity at our home. In this process, plant's water is heated, turned into steams to run turbine. Means when coal was burning, the heat produced, the heat will burn the water, and water convert into vapor and form a steam, and that steam run the turbine, and turbine will rotate, the electricity produced. In this manner we produce electricity in thermal power plant. Hydropower plant, this is our third conventional sources of energy. In hydropower plants, capture the energy of falling water to generate electricity. A turbine converts the kinetic energy of falling water into mechanical energy. Then a generator converts the mechanical energy from the turbine into electrical energy. In this way, means we know in dam the water was stored. When the water level was rises, then we release the water. When water was falling, when it was the dam, and here is the gate of the dam. When water falls down, here it is a turbine. When water fall with the top to bottom, the speed of the water increases, then he rotate the turbine fastly, then turbine will rotate, it will join with generator, and the turbine rotate, the mechanical energy is increasing, and the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy with the help of generator. So in this manner we will convert mechanical energy into electrical energy with the help of turbine and generator with the help of falling water. That is called hydropower plants. So now you understand what is conventional sources of energy, that is fossil fuel, thermal power plant, hydropower plants. We will use these types of conventional energy to fulfill our needs of energy, to run our electrical appliance at our homes, to run machines at our factories and industrial areas, and to do different works. Hydropower plants. Hydropower plants are associated with dams. Around 25% of our country's energy requirement is met by hydropower plants. We already discussed hydropower plants is convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. That was in a dam, the falling water when falls on a turbine, then it converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Our 25% of country's energy requirement is fulfilled by hydropower plants. Mostly the cities are made on the bank of a river. It's fulfill our energy needs with hydropower plants. That's why the most of the cities are made on the bank of the river for fulfill our energy requirement. Now there are some advantages and disadvantages of conventional source of energy. In that, first we will discuss about advantages of energy. Now, no environmental pollution, means when we use electricity the environment does not affect, so it is a advantages that it doesn't pollute environment. Flowing water is a renewable source of electric energy, means when we flow the water, it will only falling on a turbine and it generator converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. So the river also not polluted, so it is a renewable sources of energy. We always reuse the energy. Construction of dams prevents flooding of river, provides water for irrigation. Means when we made a dams on a river, then when rain was happening, heavily rain was happening, then the water stores in a dam for future uses, and the nearby areas we in nearby areas, for irrigation purposes we provide water through dam. So these are the advantages, but some disadvantages also with this. And first, the large areas of agricultural lands, a vast variety of flora and fauna, human settlements get submerged in the water of reservoir formed by the dam. Means we are making dams on a river, so on a river and coastal areas. So the floras and faunas that was on a coastal areas, that was fully destroyed for human settlement, because the vast variety of flora and fauna is taken the agricultural land. So the agricultural land is converted into residential and for construction purposes. That's why the land was submerged in water. The large ecosystems are destroyed, means mostly the nearby areas will be destroyed for construction of dam. So the people of that areas have to replace another area. That's why the large ecosystems are destroyed. Third, vegetation that submerged underwater roots under anaerobic condition and produce large amount of methane, which is a greenhouse gas. Means when the river dam water will fill the place, so the areas that flora will submerged in the water, then after some time it will decompose and it release methane gas, and methane gas is a greenhouse gas that absorb the heat and produce global warming. So these are the disadvantages of hydro means conventional sources of energy.